Hey, this is Kyle from the Longbox Cast. I'm sure you've heard my co-host Steve talk about Revenge Lover designs a million times. But now I'm going to mention it for the 1,000,001th time, so stick with me here. If you need a really kick-ass logo, but you don't want to ask your neighbor's kid because you know he's going to do it on PowerPoint or Microsoft Word, then go to RevengeLover.com and tell her Kyle from the Longbox Cast sent you. I guarantee you she'll use Photoshop or Illustrator or one of the professional design programs that graphic designers are supposed to be doing. Seriously, who the hell uses PowerPoint?
Greetings, fellow humans. This is Pat Callahan from All White Tukey. You're listening to another great podcast on the Four-Eyed Radio Network. Yeah. Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the Arcade Bros. Yeah, we are back, and Matthew will be joining me in a little bit. Right now, I'm going to go through and do all the little special things throughout the show. So, of course, this is episode number 95. This is March 15th, if you're listening to the show. Of course, you can find us at, in the Arcade Bros webpage is under wraps right now, so we'll wait till that's, done and under construction right now. So, but of course, you can find us on www.4eyeradio.com, Spreaker, iTunes, Stitcher, Zune Marketplace, BlackBerry Podcast, Blueberry Podcast, Mirror Guide, Double Twist, YouTube, Swell Radio, and Player FM. And of course, this episode is brought to you by Revenge Lover Designs, illustrates and designs that fit your personalities. For samples and inquiries, please visit revengelover.com. And don't forget to check out Amazon.com. Go to the Sasquatch.net and click on the Amazon banner and shop like you normally do. I'll have a little taste if you do. And without further ado, here is Matthew joining in on the show. Hello, Matthew.
Hey, man.
Oh, that worked out perfectly.
What's up?
Not much. I just did the intro and music and everything then. I said Matthew will be joining us shortly, and boom, you popped in. So we are raring to go.
Oh, awesome.
Because I know you got to probably do some stuff. Or you're probably like me where we both want to jump back in and play some more Division. So,
Yeah, the game's pretty fun, man.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely talk about that. I honestly, not too much like show notes have happened this week. I think the biggest news was the whole Microsoft canceling Fable Legends.
Yeah.
So,
I was just looking at the stuff that you put in there.
So everything else will be pretty quick. So this probably won't be that long of an episode, but I figure why not have a few things to talk about. But yeah, Matthew, how are things? Things are good?
Things are good, man. Sorry if I sound a little congested. We were out at the Ostrich Festival today.
Nice.
And the allergies.
I saw that. I was all like, dang.
So,
you had a busy weekend, my friend. You went to the zoo, Ostrich Festival. Man, you're just living the dream.
It was a good weekend, man. No, things are good. I haven't gotten to play a lot of games this week, but I did pick up the Division finally. I waited, and last night after having some drinks, I made a purchase. So, and I did it digitally. Which, I normally do physical copies of games, so it should be interesting doing the digital side of it.
Question with the digital one: did you get anything perks-wise or anything like that going through the Xbox store? Oh, no. No, hold on.
Yeah, I was like, did I lose it? I think my computer...
Okay, there you are now. It's like all of a sudden your little screen froze. So I was like, what? So yeah, were there any perks? I know because certain places do, like, you get this or you get that if you go through what? So did Xbox give you anything or just...
No, I didn't get anything. I know, like, looking at the retail copy, you got like the hazmat suit or something like that.
Yeah.
No, unfortunately, I didn't get anything like that, but it's okay. I'm not too upset about not getting a hazmat suit. So,
Yeah, honestly, I don't even know where my hazmat suit is. So, like, I downloaded
I think
it.
when you get just the appearance, like the clothes and stuff that you get,
Yeah.
there should be like a complete set tab, and I think that's where you would go to equip it.
All right. Well, I'll go ahead and look for that in a bit. But yeah, of course, yeah, we've been playing the Division. I've been playing Until Dawn and Halo 5 finally, Zelda as well, and then Matthew and I, we jumped in the other night and we played a game called Blades of Steel for the original NES, and I think every once in a while you and I have to sit down and just play an old school NES game. That's why I gotta map my thing, and let's see if it holds up to what we remember, or is it a lot better?
Right.
I assume it's probably a lot better now because you kind of know what you're doing. Opposed to, I'm pretty sure if I rented this game like back in the day, I'd probably have played it for maybe 10 seconds and been like, "Fuck this game."
Yeah. There's literally like two buttons. You either shoot at the goal, pass, or you run into the other person just with your directional controls to start a fight.
Yes, and the fighting does deliver, just that side-by-side screen and just mashing buttons and trying to knock the other player out. So, but yeah, definitely the Division. We'll probably be doing a lot of Twitch streaming as soon as possible. But yeah, it's a very fun game. Definitely going to take up a lot of my time.
Yeah, absolutely. After being in the alpha and the beta, it's cool to see all of the things that were locked and you couldn't access at that time. Now you're able to see all the meat and potatoes of the game. Granted, I'm still so far in the beginning of this game, but I can already tell that it's going to make me want to grind to unlock that next wing or that thing. So,
which is kind of funny. You're not really that far behind, which is actually really kind of funny about that, because you've done about 2 of the main story missions besides the prologue stuff.
Yeah.
And honestly, I think I've only done. I think I did a 3rd mission after that, and then I honestly maybe did another mission after that.
Okay.
So I've only done maybe of the story mode missions, maybe 4 or 5.
Okay.
So nothing like too major, but I bet again it's like running around and trying to do all the little side missions and find stuff, and you get things for that. And I kind of like the fact that there's like the 3, like the security, electricity, and medical, and they all have their own points.
Right.
So when you have to upgrade and stuff, you're not taking away from another like point value or anything like that. It's all like, oh, I'm going to do this medical bay system mission, and I'll get a bunch of points for it, like for the other 2 tiers, but mostly it'll be medical points to put towards the medical stuff, which is kind of interesting. So
for sure.
Did really like that.
And today I jumped on with you and your buddy Kenny.
Yeah.
And it was cool playing a team of 3 and going through a mission, and we upped the difficulty to hard, and how to use strategy and teamwork to get by certain sections of the mission. I like that a lot. There's a lot of like tactics and stuff that you can do. It's not just going there running gun. Like you have to be smart and use your abilities and things like that. So it's a very smart shooter.
Yeah, and what I also like about that with the abilities is the fact that you do want people to have different ones equipped, because I know you can have 2 kind of abilities, and you don't want everyone to have the same exact one sometimes, because then it's like, oh crap, what am I going to do, kind of thing. So I'm pretty sure, I think you can do like a team of 4, if I'm not mistaken, and the entire thing. So it would be kind of cool just to see like, okay, I'm going to have like all my armor stuff up, I'm going to be like the tank maybe, or I'm going to have this up or stuff like that. But a lot of the perks are pretty cool, such as like that medical box you can drop and it can heal people, and then people can run over to and revive themselves. So there's a lot to this game that it's kind of funny playing and then going like, wow, I just wish Destiny kind of had some of this stuff to it.
Right.
But
well, I think Ubisoft took a note out of Destiny and kind of watched that game over the last year that's been out, or actually year and a half, I guess. We're coming up on 2 years now, I would think, for that game. And made tweaks and things to the Division that should have been implemented in Destiny in the first place. So I don't think it's necessarily fair to compare the 2. They're kind of 2 different beasts, but they do have very similar qualities in the aspect of being like an online massive multiplayer game, if you want to classify it as that.
Yeah, no, that is true. I just hope they do a lot better with their like DLCs and stuff like that, which I've already heard that I think they're going to be releasing a lot of free stuff.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So I think they might have taken a page out of even The Witcher's book at that point to be like, hey, if you want to buy something, let's give you something that's actually worth buying,
right?
Kind of thing. But yeah, so far I like in The Division. I'm pretty sure with a couple of the days that I have off coming up, I'm going to be grinding a lot and just playing a lot of different games and stuff. But
yeah, I'm happy I picked it up. I was on the fence for quite a while, and I'm glad I did it. So.
But yeah,
just to get lost and immersed in the world.
Oh, don't worry. We'll definitely be doing that because it's just fun playing multiplayer. And I like the fact that like it could be like, oh, what do you haven't played yet? Oh, let's jump into that mission. And like, I don't mind replaying missions over again and stuff like that because there's certain things that I'll be like, oh, I totally forgot. Or like, oh, I have a tactic. I know what to do here. Or kind of thing. You can kind of help the other player out and stuff like that. But yeah, so we'll definitely be talking about, I'm pretty sure Division is going to become the next Destiny for us, where we'll be talking about that every week. We'll probably touch on it.
Yeah.
So much. So I'll definitely be streaming more, especially when I have a team with me and everyone can listen to the chat and stuff like that. I think that should be interesting to watch and stuff like that. But yeah, a couple of stories. Nothing too major came out. That's what we said. It was probably going to be not that long of a show. But one of the things finally came out is they finally touched upon Gears of War, what the fourth one's going to be. And it looks like you're actually going to be playing Marcus Phoenix's son.
What's your thought process on that?
My thought process is I'm okay with it, but I'm like, are you gonna give us what the fuck happened at between this time period of Gears of War 3 and Gears of War 4? I don't know if everyone's doing the Star Wars thing where they're like, we gotta introduce the new people and have a new generation. Like I feel like Gears of War was for us, and now Gears of War 4 is like for the next generation of kids. I'm guessing is what they're trying to shoot at.
Okay.
I'm okay with it, but I'll have to see like where it goes, because if it's gonna go down to this weird like kind of stupid like I'm a kid, like I do what I want kind of thing. So I mean, hopefully there's some like thing to it. So I'm interested, but I'm also kind of wish I'd be playing as Marcus Phoenix again and not his child. So.
Well, I guess Gears of War 4 is set like 25 years after the events of Gears of War 3.
Yeah.
So, I had no idea that Marcus Phoenix had a kid. So I would hope that Marcus is in it. I mean, he's such an iconic character, and he's, one of the ambassadors pretty much that made the Xbox brand what it is. So it's almost like with Halo 5 when they brought Locke in there, and it was like, okay, well, what's up with Master Chief? I mean, Master Chief is Halo.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I haven't played Halo 5 yet, but from the information that I've obtained since the time that it's been out, Locke's like 80% of that game. And so it's kind of interesting, and I'd be interested to see once we get more details about Gears of War 4 if it's going to be kind of like that, in this same kind of boat where Marcus is in it, but he might not be the biggest predominant role.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm interested to see where it goes. I mean, obviously we saw a little bit of glimpse of it. We'll probably get more detail with the E3 stuff coming up in June.
Yeah.
They're gonna be releasing a bunch of stuff. This is just all like teaser stuff beforehand. But yeah, speaking of Halo 5, that you brought that up. Yeah, the funny part is like, yeah, you're playing basically the guy from ODST on the one team.
Okay.
So basically you go back and forth between teams. So it's almost like Halo 2 where you kind of played as the Arbiter and then also Master Chief back and forth throughout storylines. So you're doing that with the Halo 5 where like you'll play as this team, I guess they're called Blue Team, and then I guess your team is Red Team.
Okay.
So you go back and forth between them. So I mean, all I've played so far is just 2 levels, 2 missions. Got a feel for each of the things. They pretty much play exactly the same, except one you're Master Chief and one you're the other one. But it is very interesting because even they said like Master Chief is kind of going rogue, and you have to go after him. But even the guy who Nathan Fillion plays, he's like, you do realize when we go after him, like everyone's gonna hate us, Marines are gonna hate us, Spartans are gonna hate us, like everyone's gonna hate us, like we shouldn't be doing this. So I have a feeling something's gonna happen in between this whole kind of story mode thing where someone's going to have a change or something's going to happen. So I mean, it's very interesting, but it's kind of like that same thing where it's all like, yeah, Master Chief is pretty much Halo, but then you're also kind of handed off to these other kind of side characters of like, I mean, that's how I kind of felt with Halo 2, where I'm like, I do not want to play as this character kind of thing
Right.
when you were playing it. So at least this one isn't like that because the controls are pretty much the same. You're pretty much playing like a power suit Spartan, so you're like, okay. Not like the whole like ODST, which don't be wrong, I liked ODST. I thought it was a great game, but it was also down to that point where you're like, I'm kind of not a awesome badass Spartan, so I'm just kind of like this random soldier. So, but
that
yeah,
was an interesting time. I mean, it's kind of like Halo Reach too. Like there was that time in the Halo franchise when Bungie was pretty much on the outs, focusing on Destiny before 343 came in. And they just kind of pumped out these two games with ODST and Reach. But I liked Reach a lot. I thought Reach was a pretty stellar game.
I did too. I think it's funny that with the Master Chief collection that I have now, since I got it when it first came out, and they have all those bugs. So basically, pretty much I have every single one on there except for Reach. Because pretty much they gave you ODST like HD version of that on the game. So it's going to be interesting to go through and play through those again. Which I got to actually do, because I was actually playing Halo 4 again. I think I was almost done with it, and then I kind of started playing Halo 5. It's like, maybe I should finish Halo 4 and try to get what's going on with the storyline a little bit. So,
what? Nah. I've never played a Halo game. I jumped right into 5.
Yeah, jump right. Well, there's those people who do that sometimes. Yeah. I want to just hit a couple of these quick stories because I know the biggest meat and potatoes of this like news is pretty much that thing with Fable Legends and stuff. This I just thought was interesting. So apparently on PC, if you're buying anything from I guess Steam or through Square Enix, you can get this Easter surprise box for $10, and it's like I think they said it was like 5 or 10 games. Let's see. March 11 contains 5 games that will be revealed after March 21st after you buy it. So basically the games are valued over $80, but you really have no idea what these games are going to be. So it's kind of just like, hey, here's $10 and let's see what Square Enix is going to give me. And that's a huge range of games. I mean, you could technically get like a Tomb Raider game from them now. You could get, a Final Fantasy game. So I just thought that was kind of interesting that Square Enix just decided to be like, oh, here's an Easter surprise. Because, if anybody knows about Easter, it's Square Enix.
Well, it looks like Square Enix has a total of 74 games up on Steam right now. So that's a lot of games to kind of get a grab bag for. So
yeah, so if you really don't own anything, $10 for 5 games, it's not bad.
Yeah, absolutely. Huh. That's pretty cool. So it you said it was for PC and PlayStation?
I don't know if it's for PlayStation. I think it just said PC. It looks like if you just buy it through you'll just play it on the PC, because I don't know. Let's see. Easter. I mean, if it's for PlayStation, I would
it's just PC.
Yeah, just PC. Because if it was for PlayStation, I would throw down on my PlayStation 4 if I got 5 games. So I was like,
right, yeah.
But they usually don't do that kind of stuff, because I know most consoles are like, no, you got to pay more if you want to play games. This one I thought was easy, or just interesting. So Diablo 2 got a huge update apparently.
I know, that's crazy.
The old game. So long. Yeah, it took I guess it means the game is still doing great. So it just for any new PC users or anything like that, if you pretty much still have your Diablo 2, or maybe if Diablo 2 is on Steam or anything like that, if your computer's pretty much exceeds what the requirements were for when this game came out, I think in circa 1998. Maybe.
Yeah. I think, yeah.
It's either 97 or 98, because I know the first one came out in 94 or 5, maybe even 3. But yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that Blizzard is still making updates for that game. And then this one I thought was cool. So I don't know how you feel about this, since you're a Rocket League player and everything like that.
Wait, Diablo 2 came out in 2000.
What?
Yeah.
Does not seem like a 2000 game.
It was released on June 29, 2000 on PC in North America, and July 26, 2000 in North America on Apple.
Huh.
So that's crazy. I mean, reading the article here, the last update that they did was 5 years ago.
Wow.
So that's pretty crazy. The update, which is 1.14a, doesn't add a whole lot, but it's it's important for one big reason. It's designed to make the game easier to play on contemporary hardware. If you're on a Mac, this would include new installer for OS X, their operating system. So
okay.
it's basically just keeping it maintained so that it can still be played. Looking at the screenshot, I thought, man, I haven't played that game in so long, but I played a lot of hours of Diablo 2.
It's kind of, well, I mean, I think it's kind of crazy because, I mean, people are probably still streaming those games, those old school games. I mean, we still have people that are streaming, Team Fortress 2.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's like, that's why I think it's funny that I wish I knew how to do the streaming with old school systems, because I would love to just do a whole thing just to be like, oh, here's we're playing, Blades of Steel today, just kind of like old school games or whatnot. And honestly, like, so Matthew and I were playing that game, and honestly, it looked really good on my TV. Surprisingly, thinking it would be really bad for like a 8-bit game on a flat screen TV. So
yeah, I was surprised by the quality of it too.
So I just thought that was interesting. This one I thought it was right up your alley. I don't know how you feel about it because you've been playing Rocket League. You're a fan of Rocket League. I've seen you play Rocket League. You're very into it. It's a game that I'm thinking of probably picking up as well. But it looks like they're getting a basketball mode.
Yeah, I saw this in here. I had no idea, and I'm intrigued, man. It's going to be interesting because it's going to use a lot of like trying to get aerial goals, or in this case, buckets.
Yeah,
and that's where it gets pretty tricky, man. Like it's one thing to shoot the ball into the goal when you're just driving around, but to like time it to where you jump in the air, use your boost, so you're basically propelling your rocket car, and are steering it within the air to get to the right trajectory to hit it into like the goal, or with this new update, which would be a basket. It's going to be a whole new challenge, man. It's going to be pretty cool. I like the screenshot though. It literally is a basketball court.
Yeah, I thought it was looking pretty cool when I saw that. I was like, oh, okay, because I know they do the soccer now. Now, hopefully they don't get too over crazy with this, where they're like, okay, we did soccer, basketball, and then we're going to do baseball next, and you're like, no, not. No one wants to do.
I mean, they have a hockey one, which they, rather than the ball or the soccer ball or whatever, they change it to a puck, and the court is it's got ice and stuff on it, so it's cool. So
that's kind of cool. I'm actually kind of happy about that because it seems like a game that not only is it a fun game to play, easy to jump in and just do little things with it, but like some of these massive updates. I'm curious if they're going to have like ramps.
I don't know.
On the thing to help you kind of get like aerials and stuff like that, maybe, but because I'm not sure how it. I mean, I can see you jumping up in the air a couple of times, or it even looks like there's little landmines. Who knows?
Oh, those little things you drive over them to build up your boost.
Oh, okay.
But looking at the picture, the rim of the basketball hoop kind of it looks like a ramp.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's just kind of like the goal area to find where you can score points, because if you look, there's actually a car within the net area. So I don't know, man. We'll see.
It'll be interesting. So I think that was kind of cool. Probably. I didn't even know they were doing this. I would just brush over. Apparently, everybody's canceling stuff. But before we jump into the Microsoft cancel, but I guess PlayStation 4 is going to have a EverQuest game. I've never played any of these MMOs online, but I guess it was called EverQuest Next. Was canceled. Daybreaker says it just wasn't fun.
Huh.
So honestly, never. It's actually I'm kind of curious because I think somebody I know or used to know or was acquainted to at one time, I think their company actually got the marketing for this game.
Oh, really?
So I don't know if this is going to hurt them at all or whatnot, because they were in development of this new EverQuest game, and this is the only new one that I knew about that was coming out. So I guess PlayStation decided Xbox is canceling a game. We're going to cancel a game. I don't know if that's how systems work or whatnot, but diving into that story because we're just kind of flabbergasted by it. So no offense, I love the Fable series.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3 have been great. Fable Legends, I played a little bit of it. Not really my cup of tea, but I was kind of giving them the benefit of the doubt because it was a beta.
Mm-hmm.
But apparently Microsoft canceled Fable Legends and mentions proposal closure of the iconic game studio Lionhead, which pretty much kind of put them back in kind of good graces with gamers at one point. So the one thing I thought that was interesting, I guess anybody who bought anything for this game or purchased Inside Gold or anything like that, or actually put money towards this, they are going to credit those people back.
Nice.
I think
good. That's good.
Yeah, I think the server is going to stay open until I want to say maybe towards the end of April.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Let's see. Fable Legends was announced. Okay, this was so announced in 2013, and then I think the beta just went live sometime last year, right?
Yep, I believe so. Because I've been in the closed beta for a while, man. Jeez.
Yeah, me too. Like I keep getting emails about it. Like you need to update. I'm like I haven't even touched this.
Honestly, just like you said, Fable Legends wasn't for me. I liked kind of following along to see the new updates and things that they did, but I wasn't completely sold on the idea of 4v1. I just want, I want a Fable game. Like Fable is Fable. None of this weird formula. It's like Evolve, man, where you had the 4 people versus like one villain or whatnot, and the villain was putting up traps and stuff throughout the world to stop the 4 hero protagonists.
So is that what this one was supposed to be? Fable Legends? Yeah. Okay, that's what I was trying to remember, because I remember there was like that. Yeah, it kind of sucks because you think about it, like Fable. I'm trying to think. My favorite has been Fable 2, and I know a lot of people either you liked Fable 2 or you didn't like Fable 2. And
that was my favorite.
And if you liked Fable 2, you didn't like Fable 1, or you didn't like Fable 3. I don't know. There was this weird like thing where certain people like, I like this one, but I hated this one. But I did get the HD remaster of Fable, and I was playing that. I got to get back into that again, but it is really fun and everything like that. The third one I stopped playing because I got to the part where I have to build up everything.
Yeah.
For the upcoming battle. So, but I mean, it was still an interesting gameplay and stuff like that. But yeah, it kind of sucks because I kind of would wish they would just do like a Fable 4, right. Especially with the Xbox One graphics now, and just especially after seeing stuff like The Witcher and this open gameplay and stuff like that. So I don't know. So it just seems weird that they decided they're going to close this Lionhead studio.
That's the shocker to me too. I mean, Lionhead Studio has been around. It's been a pillar for the Xbox brand. I mean, Fable was right up there with like Halo and Gears of War as one of the big franchises for the 360. So to just go in there and cancel Lionhead Studios altogether is really shocking to me. I mean, granted, Xbox still owns the IP for Fable, so they could give it to another company if they want to even go down that route. Now, but all those people, I mean, my thoughts go out to them. Obviously they're talented people, so I'm sure they'll be able to find a new home, be it another studio or something within the industry. But man, that's a hard hit.
No, it is a hard hit. Now I don't know. Like you said something like they still own that IP and stuff like that. Now you mentioned something that I didn't even think of. Do you think they might hand off the Fable franchise to like Rare? Is what you mentioned?
Yeah, maybe. Anything's kind of possible at this point, I would think. And Rare is another studio, legendary studio, and it might be interesting to see what they would come up with it. But I don't know, man. It's really anything could go at this point. Maybe we'll see Fable again. Maybe we won't. I hope we do, though. I think it's a big enough and important enough series to have it live another life, another breath.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens with that, because it looks like, I mean, I know Lionhead Studios, I know they also did a game called Black and White, which was only for PC and stuff. But it looks like, let's see, with Fable series over the past decade, Press Play, also industries with creative sprites behind games like Max and the Curse of the Brotherhood, and so, I mean, they've done a couple of other games, like the side company with Xbox, with Lionhead Studios. Did a couple of games for the Xbox One to begin with already. So, but yeah, we'll see what happens. It's just kind of it literally came out of nowhere, where I was just scrolling through Facebook and going like, Microsoft canceled Fable Legends. I'm like, wow, that's kind of a weird thing. And then this whole maybe closing down Lionhead Studios. So,
yeah, it's crazy, man. Like I said, my thoughts and heart goes out to all those affected by this, but
yeah,
you guys can do it.
I think the best company that ever did like massive layoffs or closed down is when the guys from BioShock, the guy was like, look, I don't want to do this kind of stuff anymore, but I don't want to throw everybody under the bus. And they literally I think their like last week of work literally was them doing a job fair. and
Right.
him just literally giving like other companies letters of recommendation of his like other like employees and stuff like that, because he just wanted to cut his team down to like a smaller team to work on like maybe just kind of downloadable games or like indie games and stuff like that. And then he was like very kind of cool, like, oh, you need a guy who knows how to do like this. Oh, boom, here's this guy. He knows how to do it. Like he was, and I thought that was a smart way to do it, where he was like, look, I'm sorry for doing this, but I want to find everybody work, kind of thing. So, which you really never hear half the time. But with internet like Twitter and everything like that, I remember a couple of, especially with those, what was it that that one studio that went down with Kirk Schilling?
Yeah. Oh man. Oh, I can't
remember the name of the. I know it was the
Kingdom of Alamar.
Yeah, Kingdom of Alamar, which again, another great game that I feel like was not very well I shouldn't say well received. I just don't think EA marketed very well.
The game was pretty rad.
No, I loved it.
38 studios?
Yeah, 38 studios. But I know as soon as that studio like went under and people were posting like pretty much their job resumes on Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that, like I know Naughty Dog picked up a couple of people and all that kind of stuff. So I think the gaming community is pretty good at just like finding people jobs and stuff like that, which is kind of cool. So, but so I think that's gonna wrap up this episode of Arcade Bros. Like we didn't lie, it's gonna be a short episode because I know I want to dive back into some Division. So yeah, I think that's going to be this episode, really quick and easy. Hopefully next week we might have guests. I'll have to track things down, so we'll figure that out. But of course, you can find me on Xbox Live and Wii U at SchoolDays069, and PlayStation is SchoolDays without the 0 in there. And Matthew, where can they find you?
You can find me on Xbox Live at Airgyle, AIRGYLE.
And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at arcade_bros, and also now on Instagram at arcade_bros. So go ahead and follow us there. We'll try to post different things, funny memes and whatnots. And so I think that's going to wrap up this episode of Arcade Bros. And without further ado, keep on gaming. This has been another fine production of the 4i Radio Network. For more great shows, check out www.4iradio.com.